Hello all, just out for a quick walk and thought I'd do a very quick video. Basically commenting on JD Vance weighing in on the Henry Novick situation in the UK and describing it as an analogy to the death of Western civilization. This is pretty despicable. Alright, honest to God, it is vile. Somebody in such high position trying to get political brownie points out of the death of a young man, and B, someone from a completely different jurisdiction talking about this, where he really doesn't have any clue as to the situation in the UK, and he's just trying to promote his own inane brand of disruptive politics. See that this would be said in directly contravening what his family have actually come out and said, which was that they didn't want anything like this to be put onto the broad stream. Like, Britain has enough of issues with regards to their own brand of idiots who think that it is appropriate to stir up hatred and violence and rage and anger over the death of a man like this, and that instead of coming together as a society is trying to basically drive a wedge down the centre of it. But the very fact that he would use the very same language as he says that with regards to Novick being abandoned by his own, by their own security services, in this case the police force in the UK, and yet ICE continues to do raids, continues to do attacks, continues to go after innocent people throughout the United States, is just despicable. It's sick, is all I can say. Also, I noticed that he didn't make any comment with regards to the murder of a young Irish Nigerian lad on the streets of Dublin last Monday, where this boy was basically run down and carved up by a group of thugs. Now, I use the word boy in this case not as a derogatory term, but just as the case that he was much younger than I am, and also the fact that this young lad was going about his business, trying to enjoy a good night out, and was a productive member of Irish society, being a DJ and promoter for entertainment, trying to make other people happy, and also that he had been living in Ireland for the better part of his life, his parents having moved here not long after he was born. And yet, not a single thing is said about this. Not a single word is said by the Vice President of the United States about an actual murder where somebody was basically hunted down across the streets of Dublin. So the dichotomy is sick. It really turns your stomach. Nobody should lose their life under any circumstances due to the fact that they are of a different nationality, of a different age group, of a different culture, or of a different skin tone. Here in Ireland we have experienced this before, where our own population was very badly prejudiced against by members of our own government just after independence, where Irish people who happened to be of a unionist persuasion or Protestant were basically driven out of Ireland. The same happened again when the Troubles happened in the north, where Irish people were persecuted by people who just painted us all in the same brush as terrorists and supportive of the Irish Republican Army. So this is something that I am very aware of and quite upset over, when politicians try to use racism and prejudice as kickballs, and I hope that it doesn't come into Ireland as much as it has in our neighbours either side of the oceans that separate us from the rest of the world. America across the Atlantic and Britain across the Irish Sea. But anyway, shame on JD Vance, shame on Nigel Farage, and shame on all of those who would just use this tragic death, horrible death of Henry Novak and of the young lad Boyagan, I think his name, how to pronounce his name, Graham Boyagan, to use these as political kicking balls. They should know better. Have a nice day.